This is Football at 4.
And Football at 4 powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. It's brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Adam Caplan, Inside the Birds podcast, which you can get on all podcasting platforms and on their YouTube channel. Just search Inside the Birds. The guys have been in Indianapolis for the Combine. Speaking of Indianapolis in the Combine, Cedar Creek's Max Melton from Rutgers, man, 4.3 40, 11.4 broad jump. I think his stock is starting to rise. We know his brother Bo is in Green Bay, had a pretty nice run late in the season with the Packers, but now Max, the younger brother from Cedar Creek, 4.3 40. Adam Caplan is here with some Combine news and notes, and obviously some news around the Eagles today. What's going on, Adam?
Yeah, boy, this really helps Max Melton, Mike. That's a huge deal. He had a great Senior Bowl week, too. He ran a 4.39 today, which is, the thought was that he'd run in like maybe low to mid 4.3s, or more 4.4s, excuse me, and he actually beat that. His broad jump was great. His vertical was great. This is great news. He's a rock-solid third-round pick, but I know some people have told me maybe late second round, so really good day for the Melton family.
Yeah, obviously, and I guess 4'3", 5'11", 32-inch arms. I guess could be some people looking at a slot type of spot too. I mean, you get a big fit. I mean, I know he's a big physical guy. Yeah, we'll see. Big physical guy too, and that speed though could certainly put him on the map. Before we get to some Combine news and notes, the Eagles had a little news today. They have cut ties with Kevin Byard, and that's going to open up some cap space here. So, Adam, I guess not a huge surprise?
No, well, first of all, it hasn't happened yet. They've informed he's going to be released. This has nothing to do with the cap, trust me. This is a performance-based. I keep bringing this up, Mike. Rarely are players cut because of the cap. It usually doesn't have much to do with it. It's, can you justify paying him over $14 million? The question is no. I mean, the answer is no. $9.6 million non-guaranteed base salary, $4 million roster bonus, which was due on March 17th. You can't keep him. He didn't play well. Now, as we mentioned 2 months ago on Inside the Birds when we reviewed the Eagles season, regular season then got into the playoffs, and then we mentioned it again. The problem with Byard was he had to learn 3 defenses. His old Tennessee one, the new one with the Eagles, and then when they changed it with Matt Patricia. So it just didn't work. They tried it. He does turn 31 in August. He could still play, but he didn't play well, and they could not justify the cash. Now, they didn't. I don't believe they actually offered him a pay cut. It just sounds like they want to move on. And, Mike, a position that's got to be totally rebuilt. Their secondary, quite frankly, Slay will be a starter. Other than that, nothing is for certain right now.
Yeah, obviously, they make the trade, a 5th and a 6th in Edmonds. They get Byard. They thought that would be really that playmaking guy. I mean, he was an all-pro in 2021. It wasn't so long ago that he was one of the best players in the league. But as you said, he just never really fit in or made a play. He made that interception in the Kansas City game was about the only thing. But, yeah, it just didn't seem like a great fit. And I guess so much so that they weren't willing to take a look at a full training camp, and they're just ready to move on. But that really leaves them, I don't know, they got Blankenship, anybody else? I mean,
Not much.
Who else?
I mean, no, it's Sidney Brown who's come back from torn ACL, so you can't expect him to be anywhere close to where he was before the injury this coming season. That under contract, you've got Tristan McCullum, who was signed to a reserve future contract. At the safety position, Mike, that is Mekhi Gardner can play safety. He did a little bit of that when he played. That's it. No, Mike, it's completely barren. Bradbury is going to be on the roster for now. We talked on this on Tuesday. Howie Roseman, the GM, made it clear he's going to be with them going forward, but he didn't say for how long, of course. He's not going to give that out because maybe by a minor miracle they could find someone to take his contract. So, and then the future of Vontae Maddox is completely up in the air. I mean, there's no doubt. It's $6.8 million non-guaranteed base salary. It's hard to imagine he would come back with that. He could be the next guy there, but the bottom line is, Mike, this defense is going to look different. There's no in style and in talent.
Yeah, there's no question about it. So Byard will be gone, and that will be, the big news today for the Eagles that will be happening here. So they're going to need to look there. So NFL Combine workouts underway. Really, it's been a big day this week for a lot of these guys, but the workouts started yesterday with the defensive side, and today with some more defense in the tight ends, and then this weekend you'll start to see the skill position guys.
Yeah, so yesterday was defensive ends and defensive tackles, outside linebackers, inside linebackers. The big one was Porkchop Robinson, the edge rusher from Penn State, who, look, he was thought to be a late first-round, early second-round pick. I know 40 times really don't matter. It's the first 10 yards called the 10-yard split. His 10-yard split was really good. So we'll see. We'll see if he makes in the first round. We'll see if he can get there, but he certainly helped himself. And today, the corners, we just mentioned Melton, they're going on. Safeties are actually the one that's up now. Corners are done. And tight ends, by the way. Tight ends. And then tomorrow, the quarterbacks finally throw. There's what we call throwing quarterbacks. The guys who were added late just to throw to the tight ends, they're working out today. But the guys who are actually invited to work out, the quarterbacks work out tomorrow with running backs and wide receivers. And then Sunday's the final workouts with offensive linemen, guards, centers, offensive tackles, and kickers and punters. And by the way, Eagles don't have a punter on their contract going forward here.
All right. Interesting. Yeah, because that punter spot last year, they kept using the practice squad for that for a couple of weeks, and then they finally
great man, that's great.
That's right. All right. So what are teams looking to learn at these combines? How is this event it kind of kicks off the draft season? So what are they trying to find out down there?
This is by far, Mike, the most important thing here. Is the way it's explained to me is this. You get tested. You're tested for anything that you're dealing with currently that the clubs know about. Also, they're looking for anything previous that you've had in your career. They'll have this record. And also, unfortunately, and this happens every 4 to 5 years, a player will find out something that he didn't know he had. I remember a player's career ended here because of a kidney problem in which he would not be able to be passed with by NFL teams medically. So the medical testing is super important. This is a big story. How about Caleb Williams? Caleb Williams, the presumptive number one pick in this draft. Now, not only is he not working out, Mike, he's not going to take medical testing here. I don't know, and this is my 25th year of covering the NFL 23rd Combine. I've never heard of a player refusing to get medically tested here. Now, he said he's going to do it when he visits teams, and you're allowed to. He doesn't even, and also, Mike, Caleb Williams does not even have an agent. How about that?
I don't know how you feel about this, Adam, and I don't understand how these guys aren't required to go through this. I know they're getting to the point where they're so big that they don't think they need it. But, I mean, you want to come work for me and make millions and millions of dollars, guess what? Show up. I mean, I don't know how it's gotten to this, but these kind of things, like you tell me that, those kind of things are the things that bother me about this whole process, that some of these guys just decide, you know what, I'm too big to show up for your small little combine over there.
Well, okay, Mike, here's the thing, though. I don't think it's a big deal for a top pick not to work out. First of all, if you have nothing, if you're going to go top 5, it's highly unlikely you're going to do anything that's going to matter. Where it becomes a problem is, how in the world are you going to tell NFL teams you're not going to get medically tested here? That's super important. Because, Mike, let's say, for argument's sake, his first pre-draft visit isn't until, let's say, the 25th of March. So you're telling me teams have to wait? Don't forget, Mike, we got free agency which opens up on March 11th.
Yep.
What if one of these teams that want Caleb Williams doesn't know if there's anything medically wrong with him?
No doubt.
I mean, no one's expecting anything, Mike. So that's fair game. I don't have a problem though with him not working out here. So this happens all the time, but not getting medically tested. And let's put it this way: if he had a veteran agent work with him, I guarantee you that would not be happening. But it is what it is.
All right. So Combine's going on right now, and that's all through the weekend. You can watch all this stuff on NFL Network if you want to watch the workouts. And as we said, Cedar Creek's Max Melton ran today 4.3. He had an 11.4 broad, so he has made some money. He is moving into some teams, opening some eyes there. But if you want to watch all the stuff this weekend, you can. But what's next? This is the kickoff to the draft season. What are these guys going to after these combines? What are we waiting for?
All right, so also before we get to that, what also goes on here, and Caleb Williams did this, he's done the player interviews. These last 15 minutes each, you don't, not a lot goes on with these. You've probably seen the one. If you go to the Eagles website, you can find on YouTube when the Eagles interviewed Carson Wentz, John DeFilippo, the former quarterbacks coach, put him on the board, and it was really intriguing. In fact, I suggest if you really want to know what it's like with these interviews, I think like 8 or 9 minutes of that thing was put on video, so you could actually watch it. And then what you're talking about today is the timing, the on-field drills, catching the ball if you're a receiver or tight end, whatever your agility, all that stuff. And the other thing is, this is big, the measurables. They want to know if you're an offensive lineman, how long your arms are. If you're a quarterback, how much do you weigh? The big thing about this year, some of these top quarterbacks, is they don't weigh a lot. Daniels. Caleb Williams, by the way, is under 6'2". Cubs want to know remember last year with Bryce Young, that was a big deal. How much did he weigh? So that's the kind of thing that's the big thing, Mike, that you want to find out.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Everybody, and look, you you look at the measurables on a lot of these guys. I mean, sometimes teams they that'll just how big and tall or short and whatever moves you up a little slot or so. So some of these are big, huge. This is a huge weekend for a lot of these guys as they start to, as we just talked about at the top, Adam, a guy like Melton runs a 4.3. That could change around for you.
Right, no doubt, Mike. And him running a 4.39, he was not seen as that guy, and that will help him. Now, let's get to what you asked earlier. What's next post-combine?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the pro day college workouts. Players who don't work out here almost certainly will work out at their pro day. We see this, a lot of guys don't want to work out here. That's fine, but they got to work out their pro day. Those generally almost all of them, save a few, are done in March. A couple are done in April. Now, the other one is, and we'll talk more about this as the month of March gets along here. Once we get through free agency, it's all draft. So by the third week of this month, we're not going to be talking free agency anymore. It's going to be all draft. We've got the private workouts. These are done. They cannot be done at they cannot be done at your complex, the NFL team's complex. They could be done near where the player lives, where he's from, but they cannot be done at the NFL's complex. The final one is the pre-draft visits. You cannot work out players there, but these you could spend all day there. They can get medically tested. You could bring off to the board. You're meeting with the GM, the head coach, the coordinators, assistant coach, the position coaches, Mike. Sometimes if it's, by the way, the owner. But let me get back to one more thing before I get out of here, why the pro day workouts are important, and you could also meet with them. So back in 2013, I put out that the Eagles were going to draft Geno Smith if everything goes well. That was who Chip Kelly wanted. The Eagles interview with Geno Smith was not good. They were not going to draft him. That's how important these private meetings are. No matter where it happens, we met with him prior to the pro day at West Virginia. They just were not comfortable with the interview. Chip was not comfortable. No one was, and Geno was not there. Yeah, as you know, he got drafted by the Jets in the second round. So, and 10 years later, he became a pretty good quarterback. But these private meetings, when you can get one-on-one, when they're not being coached by the agent, when there are no time restrictions, are very, very important.
By the way, some releasings happening, Adam, as we're talking here. Logan Thomas, there's another tight end who's pretty good pass-catching tight end. Yep, there you go. So I know as we're going to have these conversations over the next couple of weeks, you're going to be more. And then by the way, we're in the month of March, which means the 10-day window now until free agency opens up. Inside the Birds, they're down at the Combine. Check out the latest podcasts on all podcasting platforms and go to their YouTube channel. Just search Inside the Birds. Adam, Jeff, and Andrew with a great coverage at the Combine all week long and right here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
All right, Adam Caplan, everybody here. As always, great information.